Hello, Chairperson.
Koliswa, I'm still looking for the office, my dear one. I don't have the key. Koliswa?
I can hear you, Chair. So how many minutes must I give you?
I'll sit. There is a space here. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yes, I got the space to sit. We can open the meeting. There's people here, Comrade Joe. This side. Do we form a quorum, Koliswa?
Yes.
Okay.
Person, Masuta here.
Comrade Mike?
Yeah, I just want to apologize that I'm about to board my flight, which is 9:30. We've just discovered that since I came back to Parliament, the communication has been sent to my Parliament email address, which I last used in 2013 before I joined the executive. So all correspondence on that email haven't reached me for the last 2.5 years almost since I returned to Parliament. So I just thought I needed to clarify why I don't even have notice of today's meeting. Thank you.
Okay. No, thank you, Comrade Masu.
Sure.
Okay. Koliswa, can you flag the agenda? Good morning, honorable members. Let me take this opportunity to welcome you in the meeting and apologize that we've delayed the meeting for 3 minutes because we are trying to locate our offices. Even now I'm sitting in the foyer, so if there is a noise, you should forgive us. I'll then take this opportunity to welcome honorable members, department and the officials, both from Parliament and the department, and invite the meeting to observe a moment of silence for meditation or prayer. Thank you very much. Can we then have a note apologies already? We have an apology from Honorable Masuta. Do we have any other apology, Koliswa?
Yes, Chairperson. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I've received an apology from the office of the minister. The minister is not going to join the meeting. She's attending a cabinet committee meeting. Mr. Masuta, as he already said, Advocate Masuta, he's traveling, and Mr. Heron is not going to be able to join us today. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you very much. The apologies are noted and accepted. On the agenda today, honorable members, you would know in terms of the program, we're supposed to receive the briefing on the digitization of the beneficiary with the beneficiary, and the presentation was supposed to be made by the minister and the SITA. Minister has sent an apology to say that she's not available to do that, and we then requested that we then get the PRA to come and update us on the implementation of the action plan to address the findings of the Auditor-General. You know that
recording in progress.
Was the entity of the department that got qualified, and we then said we'll continuously invite them to the meeting and to give that the presentation and how far are they in implementing the findings of the Auditor-General, and so that we are sure as members that they are attending to those issues that were raised through the audit outcome report. And then in the previous meeting, we have requested members to populate the questions on the accreditation of municipality to administer national housing program. We then said today's meeting will start with the response from the department, and then members will then have an opportunity to make follow-up, so that we then have an understanding on how this accreditation works, and how does the accreditation assist the department to administer housing or human settlement in the manner that is sustainable, and there is transparency even in administering that. Those are the two issues that are on the agenda. I'll then request members to move for the adoption of the agenda. Can I invite any member to move for the adoption of the agenda? Honorable Makaseni. Honorable Makaseni moved. Can we get the seconder?
My hand is up, Comrade Chair.
Okay, Honorable Malemata.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I stand to second the adoption of the agenda.
Thank you very much. With that note, I'm now going to invite, I see the DM. DM, you're welcome. And the DG, Dr. Alec Muemi, you are welcome too, and the team from the department. I'll then hand it over to yourself to respond on the question that we asked in the previous meeting. DM.
Morning, Chairperson. A very good morning to members of the Portfolio Committee and Parliament support staff. Let me also extend my greetings to the Chairperson. I see that Chair of PPRA in absentia. I want to introduce him, Stephen Gumeni, and his team. I do not know, Chair, whether your meeting indicated that it's going to start at 9:30. So I came here jumping, hearing your voice, and I was hearing myself for 9:30. But I think the meeting, maybe they're still on the way, but they will join us maybe while members are, the department is answering questions. Let me say, with me from the department is our Director General, Dr. Alec Muemi, and his senior manager.
Let me clarify that one for good, DM.
Okay.
We have taken a decision that if the meeting is virtual, we'll start at 9 o'clock. But if the meeting is physical, because of the bus delayment on the road, carry members from Parliamentary Village to various meeting points, Therefore, the meeting will start at 9:30. So today was virtual. So I just wanted to address it so that members would know. Even tomorrow, if there is that confusion of invite can say 9:30, you must just know if it's physical, it will then be a 9:30. But if it's virtual,
I'm trying to put my camera on, but it doesn't show. I wanted just to show my face.
You can see you again. You look beautiful.
On my side, I can't see myself. No, yeah. I will just show my face and switch off again because of the network. Chair, as the agenda items 4 and 5 respectively, I'm going to hand over to DG and his team to conclude outstanding responses to the questions posed last week on the revised municipal accreditation framework. Chair, if the PPRA joins us, they are expected to do the presentation on the implementation of findings by the Office of the Auditor-General. I've not been in these meetings, Chair. I had several bereavement. I think 2 of them very close people to the family. That's why I'm going to hand over to DG to lead us. Chairperson, last October we appeared before the committee to present audit outcomes for 2022-2023 financial year. Members of the committee reiterated the need for the department to offer support to resolve HE findings at PPRA. I think PPRA is aware because definitely they received a letter from you. And I'm now, without wasting our time, Chair, because I'm not going to speak to PPRA when they're not here, but I'm going to hand over to DG to take us through. Thank you very much, and introduce your team, DG. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you, DG.
Good morning, Honorable Chair. A hearty good morning also to the members of the committee and also to the Deputy Minister and also to the colleagues both from the ministry and our department as well as from Parliament. Thank you for the opportunity, Chairperson. Just to indicate that in the delegation this morning, we have from the department side, we are led by the Deputy Minister, Honorable Pam Chwete, and we also have DDG Ngaka Dumalisile and also DDG Sindisi Wengongo, and we then have Mr. Mielani, who was present at our last meeting, Chair, and would also join this morning to assist in the matter of the responses that were outstanding from the last meeting that we needed to provide today. And we also have from the DM's office, we have Faith Feshana, who is part of the meeting. We also have from the Minister's office, Zoleka Ndudane, and we then have from the DG's parliamentary office, Mr. Milile Krab. So with that, that's the delegation we have this morning to participate in today's portfolio committee. With your indulgence, Chair, I would invite both DDG Dumalisile to start first, and then followed by DDG Ngongo, that we are able to respond to the questions that were posed at the last meeting and to provide those responses to the Chair. We will take your lead from there, Chair, but I request that we allow them to proceed with the responses.
Thank you, DG. Good morning, Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee, Honorable Mesimenya, the Deputy Minister, Honorable Chwete, members of the Parliamentary Committee, the DG, and the colleagues. Chair, at the meeting last week, members raised questions, and I think in total we are sitting with 12 questions, where we were expected to conclude on them by today, Chairperson. We have since responded, and we do have the colleague who presented previously, as the DG has already alluded, with the technical knowledge. I will request Mr. Mielani to respond to those questions, Chair. And for the benefit of everyone, Chairperson, and those who were not part of the meeting last week, I would propose that Mr. Mielani should first read the question by the members, mentioning them by name, and then immediately after that give a response. I will come in to respond to some of the questions, particularly those that were asked by Honorable Masuta at the end of the presentation by Mr. Mielani Ntlemo. I would now want to hand over to Mr. Mielani to respond to the questions, with your permission, Chairperson. Thank you.
Mr. Mielani.
Thank you. Thank you very much, DDG. I've been trying to press here. This thing seems not to be responding. Thank you, and my apologies about that. Thank you very much, DDG, and greetings to the chairperson of the committee, the deputy minister, members of the committee, my DG and other DDGs present and colleagues present. I'll just shoot straight. Our approach will be to respond to the comments as well as questions that were put forward after the presentation. I'll go in the line that which the DDG has requested the committees that we should proceed with. The first comment was made by Honorable Member Tseki, in the form of this comment. It is important to take note of both the status of the municipality and that of a province, to which conditional grants have been allocated every year, and yet they continue having problems, even to an extent of returning the money. Our response as a department is that indeed the honorable member is correct, that the status of the municipality with regards to its performance on conditional grant allocated to it gets considered prior the municipality is awarded the accreditation status. The enhanced accreditation criteria, which were highlighted in our presentation as part of the revised accreditation framework, also looks at the performance of a municipality, not only on grants that are related to housing or human settlement, but on other grants that are allocated to the municipality coming from other sector departments. So we do consider the performance of the municipalities. Further, the provinces are held accountable with regards to their performance by the national department as far as the human settlements grants that are allocated to them is concerned. Where there's a need, funds get reallocated to other provinces where the grants can actually get spent and can be able to deliver on the houses or on the human settlements target that are expected of the province, so that we do not lose the money as the sector. The second question, after the question from, there's a question from Honorable Member Tseki. The question reads as this: whether the said criteria consider the prevailing reality of municipalities, as it seems that the criteria used seems to be quite general against the backdrop of the municipalities continuing to return funds to the fiscus or national treasury. This should then serve as an indication or a determinant factor of whether the municipality is granted the accreditation status or not. Based on the comments that we've made, which is linked to the very question, our response is that, as highlighted above or as explained before, the criteria considers the prevailing reality of the municipalities with regards to their constitutional obligation, both in terms of delivering services as well as the grant performance that have been allocated to them. Municipalities are further required to submit a portfolio of evidence to support their performance as part of their application for accreditation that they've submitted. So we do consider and we ask them to motivate where they say they are performing. We then ask for a portfolio of evidence to be able to demonstrate whether they are performing or not. The third question comes from Honorable Member Advocate Masuta. I'll read it. The issue of the municipality capacity was of concern, hence the responsibility of providing shelter is a shared responsibility amongst the three spheres of government as articulated in the judgment relating to the Grootboom case. That dealt with the socio-economic right. If the municipality does not meet the criteria, the responsibility therefore rests with both the provincial and the national department. Our response is this. The honorable member is correct in that the revised accreditation framework 2023, as presented to the portfolio committee, is premised on the basis of expanding and broadening the state capacity to plan and deliver human settlement at a scale by all spheres of government through capacitation of municipalities so that they can be able to package and deliver houses through the accreditation process. Furthermore, where a municipality fails on the basis of the criteria set, the revised accreditation framework dictates that a municipality capacity support should be developed and funded by provinces through the support of the national department to ensure that a municipality is capacitated to meet the criteria in their resubmission of the application. For an example, if the municipality is found to be lacking in capacity, maybe for an example in project management skills, after the assessment process has been undertaken, the capacity support plan will then detail how these capacity gaps will be closed by the provinces. And it will also detail how much funding and when these capacity gaps going to be given to the municipalities. There are a few instances where a municipality did not meet the criteria as we run a pre-accreditation intervention program as the national department. This pre-accreditation intervention program is designed to assist municipalities in their accreditation application. For an example, there are municipalities such as Joint Taolo-Gaetziu municipality found in Northern Cape, which did not succeed in their first attempt or making an application for accreditation due to the poor accreditation business plan in terms of how they have put it together, as well as the audit outcomes. Through the intervention of the national department, of course supported by the province, the municipality were able to then support the municipality in terms of developing and their ability to be able to develop an accreditation business plan. And we have made it sure to the municipality that until when they turn around their audit outcome, they will never be considered for accreditation. And the municipality worked hard in terms of turning around their situation, and they were able to get a much more improved audit outcome, and we therefore consider them for accreditation. And in their second attempt, they were able to be successful, and they are now accredited. And for years, they've been maintaining a clean audit successfully. The fourth question comes from Honorable Member Advocate Masuta as well. It's on the role of the SITA department, whether the Department of Rural Development has been brought on board in terms of the implementation of the accreditation program. Our response is that there are other SITA departments that are playing a key role in the implementation of the accreditation program, such as the National Treasury, Department of Monitoring and Evaluation, Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. This also includes such key and critical stakeholders such as SAGA. The department therefore agrees with the honorable member that the Department of Rural Development has a key role to play in the accreditation process, particularly that they are the custodian of SPLUMA. Therefore, the department will take an opportunity of extending an invitation to the Department of Rural Development so that they can take part in the accreditation process. There is a national accreditation task team which is comprised of all these other stakeholders that I have highlighted. We will then extend our invitation to the Department of Rural Development so that they can be able to take part in this process. The fifth question, it comes from Honorable Member Advocate Masuta as well. I think the DDG Dumalisilo will be able to answer this one, 5, 6, and 7. She will answer. Let me continue from 8. There's a question that comes from Honorable Member Makesini. It reads as follows: whether the Ekurhuleni municipality was accredited at level 3. The last time it appeared before the Portfolio Committee on Human Settlement, the Ekurhuleni municipality was on level 1. Our response is that Ekurhuleni municipality was accredited to level 2 during the 5th administration. In terms of the revised accreditation framework to 2023, which we presented to yourself, there are 2 levels of accreditation, namely level 1 and level 2, and to also highlight what these levels mean. Level 1 means that a municipality is therefore given a responsibility to deal with beneficiary and subsidy administration. This is an entry level of accreditation. Whilst when a municipality is accredited at level 2, it means that a municipality, in addition to level 1 function, is therefore given the responsibility to also administer and manage human settlement programs and projects as espoused in the Housing Code. The second question from Honorable Member Makesini read us as following. Perhaps this was more of a comment. The Honorable Member commented that some of the municipalities were dysfunctional, yet the Department of Human Settlement wants to grant them accreditation. Our response is that the department highlighted in its presentation that the accreditation of municipalities is not automatic. The municipalities will have to meet the new enhanced criteria before they get accredited. The criteria is built around the key performance areas in accordance with the delivery of human settlement value chain, as well as considers highly the audit report outcomes, as well as the status of local government indicators, which looks at the issues around the stability of the municipality, as well as good governance and performance issues. We can state without fear of contradiction that there's no municipality that has been accredited while is regarded as dysfunctional, as the department has set a good audit status as a prerequisite before the application of a municipality is considered. Furthermore, the assessment tool which was used in the past before this revised accreditation framework did not consider the status of local government indicators. In this one, there is a revised accreditation framework. We've imbued it or strengthened it with the status of local government indicators, which also looks at the general issues that which honorable members have raised as concern. Lastly, Honorable Member Dr. Mkhize asked a question in this form: wouldn't it assist to build capacity for municipality to accredit a district municipality to be able to manage human settlement issues? Our response as the department is that while the priority with regards to the revised accreditation framework 2023 seems to have placed much more emphasis on the priority of intermediate city municipality, it does not, however, exclude the district municipalities from accreditation or for being accredited. As a matter of fact, there are about 4 district municipalities that have been accredited as we speak. Such municipalities come from Northern Cape in the name of Pixikaseme, Francis Bart, Namakwa, as well as John Taolo Khaitsiwe that have been accredited. But there also seems to be other districts that have shown interest. For an example, Garden Road Municipality in Western Cape, as well as West Rand Municipality in Gauteng, who are engaging them in different levels of capacitating them as a national department at the present moment. And the 11th question comes from the chairperson. The question reads as this: if a municipality is unable to perform, what is to be done? In response to that, the department highlighted in its presentation the progressive steps that will be undertaken by the department in conjunction with the province should a municipality fail to perform on its delegated function. This is captured under the section of remedial action. If you remember the presentation, the last slides spoke much about the remedial action of the revised accreditation framework. Of great importance is that national or provincial department can be able to intervene earlier where a municipality digresses. And first and foremost, by providing the capacity support required, as I've already highlighted in my previous responses, and ultimately the department or the province can invoke the administrative interventions as legislated. And ultimately, if the situation does not change, it can therefore lead into the status, accreditation status of a municipality being withdrawn. So it is important that as a way of regulating this, that implementation protocols are signed between the accredited municipality and the delegating province to ensure that the roles and responsibility, as well as the performance targets and indicators that are delegated to the municipality are actually then used to performance manage, as well as to identify support for a municipality where it really needs help. The last question is the 12 questions from the chairperson, as from the honorable chairperson, is how is the accreditation process going to assist us in obtaining information, including resolution of issues such as non-responsiveness and non-compliance issues that we are seems to be bedeviled with. The chairperson also further commented on the need to strengthen the conditions around the conditional grants. Our response is that indeed we agree with the chairperson on the last comment. But as part of the revised accreditation framework, the municipalities that are accredited will be obliged or are expected to sign an implementation protocol with the province, as I've previously highlighted. The implementation protocols define clear roles and responsibilities, as well as performance standards that must be met by municipalities. Key to the role of the municipalities once accredited is the ability of the municipality to report on its performance by submitting progress reports, quality progress reports in time. Failure by the municipality to fulfill their obligations as agreed upon on the signed implementation protocol will trigger the progressive steps that have been highlighted above as well. Every annually, the grant frameworks are reviewed. The national department takes the opportunity of making various inputs into the conditional grants. This is done in consultation, of course, with the provinces and municipalities, with the view of trying to strengthen the management and the disbursement of grants to the provinces and municipalities based on the lessons that we would have picked up or learned from the previous year of implementation. That sums up the responses of today. Thank you very much to the chairperson and Deputy Minister DG and the DDGs and members of the Portfolio Committee.
Greetings once more, Chairperson Ngaka Chair. I did indicate at the beginning that I will be coming back to respond to the 3 questions that were raised or asked by Honorable Masuta. One of the questions, Chairperson, that was asked, which was question number 5, was that what is the department's development strategy in respect of the rural housing? Chair, I do want to indicate, and probably members would recall, that the department does have a housing policy in the form of housing code that also caters for the rural housing program, where we do build low-cost houses in rural areas, Chairperson. So it's not necessarily a standalone kind of a strategy, but it is contained, or rather it forms part of the housing policy. The second question that was asked by the same member is on the issue of special integration, which has its own complications. What is the policy perspective in respect of development of low-cost housing within the middle high-value housing development? And I think this was probably triggered by what Honorable Chairperson did mention during that day regarding a Bendo project. Chair, I want to indicate that as part of the housing policy or housing code, provinces and metros are actually allowed to have what we normally call the catalytic projects, or some call it the mixed development. Now, those projects would ordinarily happen within the urban space. And in that urban space, the project would allow for different housing typologies, and the different housing typologies, as well as the necessary or the critical social amenities. Now, what you would normally get there is the houses for the middle income, the bonded houses. You would then also have your military veteran houses in one space. You will also get the low-cost houses, or your BNGs, in one space, as well as the amenities such as hospitals, schools, churches, and all other amenities. So it does take place, Chairperson. It is allowed. And I think we can actually provide that information. In almost every province, they do have some provinces like Gauteng, they have more than one of those programs. There's another one that is up and coming as we speak in Mangaung, where it's going to actually integrate all different communities in one space in the urban area. The last question, Chairperson, is that was raised by Honorable Masuta, was that has the department considered the establishment of entities within the department that may assist in the delivery value chain? Chair, we already have existing entities. One of them is the one that members will be engaging with, the PPRA. We have 6 of the entities, but the ones that are very critical in terms of the service delivery that is happening on the ground, 2 of them are very critical, which is HDA as well as the NHBRC. HDA chairperson gets appointed by provinces as well as metros, and most of the time it is appointed as their implementing agent in terms of the human settlements programs and projects. And that it is very helpful in terms of accelerating service delivery on the human settlements programs on the ground. Same with NHBRC chairperson, that forms part of the service delivery value chain, and that is utilized by virtue of the Act in terms of making sure that there is compliance on the construction of the houses, but also during the emergencies or the disasters, chairperson, provinces and metros would ordinarily make use of the NHBRC in terms of the structural assessment of the houses there's the houses that would have been damaged by the disaster before the reconstruction of the houses takes place. So those entities do exist, Chairperson. There may not be a need at this point in time to go for an additional one, but I'm safe to say that all 6 of them are critical in as far as the work that we do is concerned. Thank you so much, Chair.
Thank you very much, Naga and your team. Maybe just checking from DG or GM if there is any addition that you want to do.
No, Chair. On my part, this is the DG speaking. On my part, I think the questions have been properly answered, unless there are follow-ups. But yes, I'm covered, Chair. Thank you.
I'm also fine, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. Can I invite members who want to make follow-ups? There is no follow-up. Thank you very much for the response. I think it's important, DG and GM, that you consistently monitor the performance of municipalities, because as we speak, metros are collapsing and you don't know what is the problem. The recent report of the Standing Committee on Finance on Ekurhuleni, it's a problem too. So we just have to continuously monitor and we don't end up being trapped in the problems of non-performance of these municipalities and affect the program on human settlements. Thank you very much for the response. I'll now invite the chair of the PPRA through the GM to take us through their action plan to implement the Auditor-General's findings.
Chair, thank you very much, and also thank the department for the responses. Chair, I don't see the chair of PPRA. I just want to check who is here from PPRA. Can you, the leader of PPRA, help us by introducing the team of PPRA and take us through the presentation? Thank you very much. Chair, I wanted to make a comment on what you've raised concerning after you've made your comment concerning the municipalities. I think at some stage we said we need the kind of collaboration of these two committees and come together. And I think it's quite important because we've tried our best, and what is painful is the money which we're not sure that municipalities will be able to utilize it. But I think even because I won't be here in the next financial year, this is my last term in Parliament, but I think it's quite important that at some stage we come under one roof and talking about only human settlement issues. So I wanted to raise that. But PPRA, can you take us through and introduce your team?
Yes, thank you through you, Chair. This is Thato Ramaidi, the acting CEO of the PPRA. And I'm here this morning with the CFO, Mr. Ebert Potgieter. So good morning to the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee, Ms. Minya, the Deputy Minister, Mayor Pam Tshwete, the DG, members of the Portfolio Committee, DDG, and everyone on this call. Good morning. I will take And Chair, if I can have somebody please flight the presentation that was circulated. I'm unable to do it from my side before I proceed.
While Tato, you are a co-host, you can share from your side.
Okay.
Where is the chair? Why are we not getting where is the chair?
Chair, the communication received yesterday was that only 2 people are allowed to this call. And when we were trying to get a hold of the chair this morning, we couldn't reach him. And hence he is not present this morning, but it was based on communication circulated yesterday that only 2 members can join. So I thought, you know, management can be present. So apologies, Chair.
Okay, proceed.
Okay, thank you. So the purpose of this presentation is to appraise the portfolio committee on the progress made in resolving the audit findings in the previous financial year. So I will do the introductions, Chair and portfolio committee members, and then the CFO can come in later. But I just wanted just to highlight and just give a summary. So there were audit findings that were raised under the Property Sector Transformation Fund. There were 3 findings that were raised, and 3 of those findings have been resolved. Under the Property Practitioners Fidelity Fund, 1 finding was raised and 1 finding is still in progress, which I will explain in detail as to where we are. And then under the PPRA, there were 12 findings that were raised, material findings, and 4 of those have been resolved. And I just wanted to just inform the chair and the members that of the 8 findings outstanding pertaining to the PPRA and the Fidelity Fund, 5 of these findings pertain to the debtors book. So what informed the AG to raise this particular finding was that since inception, the PPRA's debtors book or receivables was growing and no debtors were being attended to, Chair. So they were questioning not only the integrity, but also the reliability of our debtors book. And I am here to report that since that finding, we have since formed a debtors recovery business unit. We've got a debtors recovery, and he is heading up 5 debtors recovery officers. And once the financial year concluded, we had a meeting, which I'll still continue with the Auditor-General, to ensure that we are attending to our audit findings. And they are currently here on our premises. It's been 30 days now, because I thought it would be prudent that we engage the Auditor-General on a preliminary audit instead of them coming at the end of the financial year. So what we have done thus far is that for the findings pertaining to the debtors recovery, which I will go through them in detail, we have since shared our actions plans with the Auditor-General so that they satisfy themselves with our progress, and we have received positive feedback thus far. And then of the 8 findings, like I've alluded, 5 pertain to the debtors recovery book. One of the findings pertains to the SARS exemption certificate. So since 2017, the PPRA, or the erstwhile EAAB, we have never filed our annual reports or financials with SARS to get a SARS exemption. So what we had to do firstly was get that profile under our name. So what I've done in that regard is I've appointed a public officer from the PPRA to liaise directly with SARS, which we have done. And then as of latest report is that yesterday we have been able to file all our financials from 2017 to current. The only glitch was that with SARS, we were still registered as the Estate Agency Affairs Board. So we are in the process of changing that to the PPRA, and the person in charge of that in that unit advised that we should be able to close this finding this year. Because what I didn't want is for us to get a SARS exemption certificate, still saying EAAB, then the Auditor-General raises the finding again. It is a repeat finding. So I thought it prudent that we do it right the first time, and this finding will be concluded during the course of February. The other finding was around the SEM policy, which we have since updated. It has gone through EXCO, it has been approved. But at the PPRA, we do have a once a year policy workshop review with the board, where all the policies are reviewed and signed. And this has been scheduled in the first week of March. So this finding as well will be closed. And then the last finding, Chair and members, is partially resolved. It's around the transversal contract, RT15, pertaining to the ICT procurement. The CIO, there was a delay because the specs had to be revised to incorporate all the ICT procurement that we are busy with. And then the CIO did give me commitment that this finding as well will be resolved in the month of February. Now, Chair and members, let me go back to the 5 findings, right, of the 8 that are outstanding pertaining to the debtors book. So this finding can only be concluded.
Sorry, Tata, the screen is not moving.
Sorry about that. Okay, thank you. So the findings pertaining to the debtors recovery book, the 5 that are remaining, they can only be attended to and addressed at the end of the financial year. And the reason is as follows. We have to run a receivable book at year end, which can only be done by the 31st of March. So the one finding around the Fidelity Fund, which is this one, is around the overstatement of receivables. AG raised that there is a misstatement on the classification of debtors. So an investigation of each debtor's balance is being conducted, and each balance will be appropriately reconciled and the corrections made where necessary to ensure that this debtor's balance is accurate and valid. And then at year end, which is next month, we will ensure that the split of receivables between exchange, non-exchange, and debtors with credit balances is accurate. This estimation of allowance for credit losses will also be determined for each debtor at year end. This will culminate in the debtors being disclosed and also presented in the annual financial statements. Now, Chair members, that is not to say we have not done anything thus far. The little bit that we have been doing, we are bouncing it back with AG to ensure that the methodology that we're using to address this particular finding is satisfactory, and all that will be needed at year end is for them to audit the entire book of receivables so that this finding can finally be addressed. And then the 4 remaining findings are around the PPRA, and the AG raised that there is a misstatement on the opening balances, current year movements, and the provision for doubtful debts on the debtors and completeness of the penalties that are levied. So legislation says that each property practitioner, if they fail to pay their FFCs on time or their renewals, there is a penalty that will be imposed. So what AG did here is they took one finding and they drilled it down into 3 findings, which again can also only be addressed at the end of the financial year. So we've received under the PPRA a qualified audit opinion for the 2022-2023 financial year. And this was again mainly due to the material audit findings relating to the receivables for exchange and non-exchange transactions. And the material findings related to the misstatement on the opening balances, the current year movements, and the allowance for credit losses. So again, we had to first investigate each debtor's balance, which we are in the process of doing. And we have agreed that approximately 10,000 debtors with an aggregate amount of about 81 million will be investigated, reconciled, and made available for verification during the interim audit in order to make a meaningful impact, which is the process that is currently undergoing. And Chair members, you'll appreciate that a debtors book from inception, which is 1976, was quite exorbitant. So we had to take, bite pieces to ensure that we are not only addressing it to address the audit opinion, but it is a task that is addressed and it will never have to address it again in the future. And as part of this process, to clean this debtors book, the long outstanding debtors of about 37 million, and please allow me to go to that slide. We've identified approximately 37 million of these debtors, and we've identified the ones that are possible for a write-off, obviously in line with the PPRA's delegation of authority. This was another recommendation by the AG. They said we need to identify the debtors that we are likely to recoup, because obviously in the sector and given the time that has lapsed before the investigation of these debtors, some people may have been deceased. Some practitioners may have deregistered and left the sector. Some of them have been liquidated, or their directors have been sequestrated. And this is a snapshot of the numbers of 5,104 debtors that we have investigated, of the ones that the matters have prescribed. So we can go back and collect debt from 15 years ago as an example. So we need to obviously write them off. So this has also been shared with AG so that we are all on the same page and we understand that indeed this debt it's unlikely that we'll be able to recoup them moving forward. And then obviously the ones that we are able to recoup, we've sent letter of demands. The debtors recovery unit is following up, and there has been commitment. I think in the month of January, between January and now, there's been a total of about 10 million that we've been able to recoup from the debtors book. So members, at this stage, I will, that is the snapshot. And then the other findings I will not, go in detail with are the ones that we have been able to action. Those are completed. Again, they were ones pertaining to the PPRA. One of them that I think is worth a mention was around the board and audit committee remuneration. AG raised a finding that they were not in line with the National Treasury regulations. And up to this point, there has been recovery from the board members to pay back some of the funds that were paid that were not in line with the National Treasury regulations. And then obviously the completeness of the failed to fund certificates. This was the one where there was a limitation of scope that was raised by AG. And just to remind the chair and the members, this audit last year took place during industrial action. So there were POEs that could not be produced due to the absence of most of the staff, and most of them obviously had laptops. So we had to ensure that we find another measure so that we are able to still conduct audit irrespective of who is in the building or whether there's a laptop present or not. And then this is another slide of the findings that one around the transversal contract I did allude to earlier, as well as the SEM policy that will be tabled and approved at board. And so that brings in the service exemption certificate I also spoke to in my introduction. So chair and members, these are all our findings to date. And I just want to give, through you, Chair, an opportunity to the CFO to just highlight or every something that I have missed before I conclude. Thank you, Chair. CFO.
Good morning, Honourable Chair and all the honourable members, Deputy Minister, DG, DDG, and all the other esteemed colleagues and committee members. CE, you've really summarised it well. There's not a lot to add from my side. I will only make one comment and just to share with the members the difference in approach this year. You have alluded, compared to last year, you have alluded to the interim audit that we're doing so that we can get feedback from the AG and see what else we can do prior to submitting the financials at the end of May. And then the other big difference is with the establishment of a debtors unit, the team, by investigating, reconciling and processing corrections on the SAP system. The previous year, we made an analysis between exchange and non-exchange on Excel without going into real actions of making sure that the balances are valid, and then also then sending the reminders and letters of demand to our clients to collect the money. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Evert. So 10 members, just to conclude, so the two of the outstanding audit findings will be actioned and concluded in the month of February. One of them pertaining to the SCM policy will be resolved the first week of March after the board policy workshop. And then the 5, as I had explained earlier, is the findings around the debtors recovery that can only be closed at the end of the financial year. But with the AG being on our premises, we are running as we proceed and we close some of these findings, we are sharing it with them. So I'm confident to say to this committee as well as the chair that the 8 findings that are outstanding I'm confident that we will be able to close them at the end of the financial year, and with hopes that there will no longer be findings of a material nature. And some of these findings, chair members will recall that they come from many, many years ago. And they were obviously, light was shed last year, and my team and I have been really intentional and deliberate in ensuring that we put the proper measures in place to ensure that we close them once and for all. So on that, Chair and members, I recommend that the Portfolio Committee notes our audit findings progress made in resolving the 2022-2023 financial year audit findings. Thank you.
Thank you very much, GM and DG.
Chair, the ultimate goal is an unqualified audit opinion with no findings. And our biggest occupation are the repeat findings, which the board is working tirelessly to manage. That's the comment I'm making, Chair. For control, it is therefore important for the committee to note that the recruitment process for the CEO is at the final stages and will soon be tabled in cabinet for concurrence. I'm raising this, Chair, because it might come from members, the issue of the CEO, the appointment of the CEO. Just to tell the members of the committee that this appointment will bring much needed stability, leadership, and increased accountability to the entity. And Chair, I think that's the question that might come from the members. But when are we, as a department, making sure that we have a CEO? It's in the process, and I think that the minister will table it soon. But what I think now, Chair, is that members might have questions and then come later after this presentation, Chair. But I will be led by you, Chair. Then we will I know that maybe you want us to add, but that's a comment I want to make for now. But I will hand over to DG. Thank you very much, Chair.
Chair, thank you very much. Just to indicate that we are cognizant of what has been presented before the committee, and in our last quarterly assessment and analysis of the entities, we had also done a run on PPRA, and we looked at this, and we can confirm that what has been presented before the committee is similar to what we picked up in our quarterly analysis of the entity itself. That will be the only addition I make in this regard. Chair, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, DG and DM. Members, you're welcome to interact with the presentation. Can I see the hands that needs to speak to the presentation as presented? Does it mean that members, you are happy with the presentation? Your silence. Okay, thank you very much. Similarly, members are happy with the presentation and the response. We hope indeed that this presentation will translate into the unqualified audit without matters of emphasis by the AG. And we welcome the input by the DM that the department is finalizing the process of appointing the CEO of the entity. And we want to welcome that. From my side, the only worry question, DG and the DM, is on this issue of the payment of the board picked up by the Auditor-General. If the Auditor-General wouldn't have picked up, and then what means that the internal audit and the and yourself couldn't have picked up in your quarterly analysis. So which is a worrisome, because I don't understand how did it happen that the board did not implement the regulation as outlined by National Treasury in terms of the board remunerations. So it's a very worrisome issue, even if the Auditor General have picked it up. But the question is, the internal audit and the department could not pick up that, and which for me, and this issue, it's a serious offense. Maybe if one can get explanation what happened in that regard. DG and the department and the DM.
Yes, Chair. I think, Chair, this is referring straight to PPRA, the question. Before I hand over to the DG, maybe I should allow the CEO to speak to that question or the comment that you've made. CEO.
Thank you, Deputy Minister. So, Chair, this particular finding, the contention here was obviously there are National Treasury prescripts, right, that give guideline as to what remuneration is suitable for Schedule 3A entities, right, which the PPRA is one of. So that's the first thing. So what a problem with was basically the preparation fee, saying if there's a board meeting on Wednesday, for example, and there's a continuation of that board meeting, there can only be a once-off one day preparation fee versus the two-day preparation fee. So what they had then tasked us to do is just do a benchmark with, you know, our sister entities, as well as the, you know, other boards of that sector, which to a certain extent, I felt that it was not fair because we need to compare apples with apples. So I think, Chair, like we had, I've shown in our progress report, the recommendation was that AG said, here's the quantum, which was in the region of over 100,000. This is the amount that we feel that needs to be paid back to the entity. And obviously myself, I had to do a very uncomfortable task to present this to the chair of the board and the board to say, we need to recoup these funds from this, the board members in question. And they were, you know, we were able to implement this recommendation thus far. And this was just a continuation again, Chair and Portfolio Committee members. That was the status quo. That was what was done in the past. It just was a finding that was brought to light in the previous financial year. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. DM and DG will close the matter.
Chair, thank you very much. If I can come in so the GM can wrap up. But just to indicate that the issue of the remuneration and the issue of what goes into the boards as well as executives at our entities is a matter now that is under review by our own minister. And our own IGR section is looking at the totality of what packages are there and what also are the benefits that are in tow, as well as what boards are remunerated upon and how. And I think ultimately we are seeking this time around to strengthen the interface in the determination of same at the level of the shareholder compacts, but also even more importantly, we have been looking at the guidance of the SOE Council that has been established as a subcommittee of cabinet, and we are looking also to the determinations of DPSA, and ultimately with the viewpoint of having a domesticated policy within our own department around this matter. But we are also guided by the fact that some of these provisions are already embedded within the acts as well as policies of our own entities, and in this case, specifically as the CEO provides for and explains, we are looking at this specific matter from a benchmark exercise and looking at whether indeed comparatively, not just with entities within our family as a sector, but also in other sectors of government, what is the pertaining picture and how does that compare? And I think the CEO's explanation is spot on in as far as the specific instance is concerned here, but we are looking at it from a much bigger, broader policy issue. And I think we would be ready by the end of this year to would have finalized on some of these policy provisions, and of import is that now going to the new financial year, we will also strengthen that part of regulation in as far as the shareholder compacts that will be signed. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you, DG. Dia?
Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, I think the issue of instability of the entities, and also remember we didn't have a DG for quite some time, and I think what DG has raised, it's really going to assist the department. That now that we have a new DG, we hope that the DG will improve the performance of our entities. And I do want to, in closing, Chair, thank the members and also for not asking questions, Chair, because it means the presentation, they are satisfied with what we are presenting, but we need to also check and also as a department and also the DG to make sure that when we come back, we rectify all the issues raised by Auditor-General and also issues that are coming, especially those that are coming for the second time, that in the next presentation, we should not have such. And I want to thank you for your guidance, Chair, and also the guidance of the members of Parliament, because I know that you've been guiding us in everything that we did. And I think we're going towards the end of the sixth administration, Chair, and I think what we have done to the committee, it's a tremendous job of assisting us in making sure that we improve our performance. And I want to say, Chair, lastly, that I want to also thank you, Chair, as a person that have been guiding and driving this bus until this time. And I see that the date of the president has pronounced the date, if I'm not mistaken. I saw it in the social media the 29th, and I think we won't be coming to the portfolio often now after the date has been pronounced. But I want to thank you, Chair, for also for the work that you have done. And I might not have this chance to thank you, Chair, because this is my last term in Parliament. I won't be able to talk to you, and thank you for your love and your guidance, Chair, and thank you so much also to everyone. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, DM and DG and the CEO of the PRA. We take this opportunity to thank you for the presentation that deals with the root causes as outlined of the findings of the Auditor-General. And we hope for the best that as we go into the new financial year, Auditor-General's report, the family of human settlement would have all the unqualified audit without matters of emphasis. We hope so, and that is our prayer as members of Parliament, that the interactions with ourselves should bear that fruit. And thank you very much for honorable members for this meeting, and good luck with the budget presentation today by the minister, and let's meet at the City Hall. Thank you very much. Before I close the meeting, I'm going to release the department and then allow Qualified to table the minutes that we have for members for consideration. The department you released, and Qualified, do you have, can we then have the minutes?
Hi, Chairperson. Yes, I have the minutes for the 8th of December last year.
Can you put them on the screen?
Can you see them, Chair?
Yes. Members, there's the minutes of the 8th December 2023. Scroll it down, Koliswa, page 1. Page 2. Page 3. Page 4. That was the minutes of the 8th of December, honorable members. I hope you still have your copies. Can I get any mover for the adoption of the minutes? If there are no corrections.
Agreed, Chairperson.
What do you agree on, Honorable Tseki? You must move. You don't agree.
I move, Chair.
Thank you very much. Can we get the seconder? Honorable Safai.
I second, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. The minutes are duly adopted. Poliswa, any other minutes that have been circulated to members?
No, Chairperson. The
Thank you very
minutes for last week, I'm still going to add the responses that were done this morning. Then they will be ready for adoption next meeting.
Okay, thank you very much. Can we then put the program for members to, because we've been talking about the program and can we put the program on the screen just for members to familiarize themselves with the program and
Okay, Chair, let me pull the program.
As Koliswa is still pulling up the program, members, because of the 2 items that were not dealt with because of the non-availability of the minister, we have instructed the officials to get the one Friday where the minister is not committed to cabinet to come and deal with those 2 matters, which is the issue of the Vulindlela and the digitization of beneficiaries, because these are the outstanding matters that are critical, and including would then get the space again to get the Stellenbosch municipalities to come and present on the response of the visit. At the time we have invited them, they had a council meeting. They couldn't manage to be part of the meeting. So we will still get those 3 issues on the program, and we'll confirm with the members, but we'll utilize Fridays that would not have sittings for us to deal with those outstanding issues. And if all the Friday would be packed, we'll then apply and see whether if we are not directly involved as the committee members, will then request one Friday to deal with those outstanding issues. That is the program. Police, you have removed it. Members, you have the program. I just thought it will be worthwhile for members just to remind that this is the program that we've adopted and we continuously follow it. Where there is a change, we'll continuously ask the meeting to adopt the changes. If there is nothing on the issue of the program, I don't see any hands on that, which means that I want to take this opportunity to thank members for availing themselves to the meeting. Thank you very much. The meeting stands adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Bye-bye.
Bye.